Call came when Marcus had just tucked his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, into bed. He worked late shifts at a downtown hotel, part-time security, part-time maintenance, part-time whatever was needed to keep the bills paid and his daughter fed. Nights were long, but familiar. Predictable. This night was not. The elevator doors had jammed on the top floor, the executive floor, and one of the hotel managers hurried down to find him. His voice was strained, tight, like he'd been holding his breath too long. "Marcus, we need you up there. Now. And, be prepared, it's the CEO. He's upset." Marcus wiped his hands, nodded, and followed. He'd never once met the CEO, only seen his face framed in polished silver in the lobby hall. Arthur Hale, billionaire, founder, the kind of man who looked like he didn't know what a bad day was. But the closer Marcus got to the executive floor, the more obvious it became that something was wrong. Staff voices hushed, eyes lowered, like something fragile was happening behind a closed door. The manager stopped outside the executive conference room. He said to send you in immediately. Just be respectful. He's not himself today. Marcus pushed the door open. Inside, the room was dim except for the lights of a city skyline pouring through floor-to-ceiling glass. A man sat at the table, elbows on his knees, his hands covering his face. His suit jacket was off. His white shirt was wrinkled, sleeves rolled up. He didn't look like a CEO. He looked like someone whose world had been dropped and shattered. "Sir," Marcus began gently. "I heard there's a problem with the elevator. I can take care of." The man looked up. His eyes were red, not just tired. "Broken. Please," the CEO said. The voice was hoarse, raw, as if every word cost something. "Just make it fast." That wasn't the tone of a man asking for maintenance. Marcus froze, not from intimidation, but from recognition. He'd heard that voice before. The night his wife died. The night the doctor told him there was nothing more they could do. He stepped closer. "What happened?" Marcus asked quietly. Arthur's jaw tightened. He tried to swallow, tried to breathe, but his voice cracked in half. "My daughter is in the hospital," he said. "ICU. They don't think she'll make it through the night." The city outside went silent. Even traffic seemed to stop. Arthur pressed his hands to his face. "She's only 6. He shook his head once, like the number itself was unbearable. "I was on my way to the hospital. But the elevator, it jammed. And then the doors got stuck. He inhaled sharply, chest shaking. "I don't want to miss her last moments." The words broke apart as they came out. Marcus felt something deep inside him shift, an echo of pain, memory, and something raw. "Okay," Marcus said softly. "Let's go." He didn't touch him, didn't rush him, just spoke the words like stone, solid, dependable. He moved past the table and didn't touch his toolbox. Instead, he walked to the CEO's chair, took off his own jacket, and draped it over Arthur's shoulders. It was warm from his body, from hours of work. It was grounding. Arthur blinked up at him, confused. "You're shaking," Marcus said. "You need to breathe. She needs you steady when you get there." Arthur stared at him, and something in him cracked, not into anger or grief this time, but into stillness. Marcus crouched in front of him. "My wife passed," he said quietly. 3 years ago. I didn't get to say goodbye. Don't lose that moment. I'll get you there." For a second, Arthur didn't move. Then he nodded, just once. Marcus stood and headed to the elevator shaft. The doors hadn't jammed mechanically, they'd shorted from an electrical surge. That could take hours to fix. Hours they did not have. Marcus didn't hesitate. He pried open the maintenance panel, disengaged the lock, and pulled the emergency override. This would let the elevator drop manually to a floor where they could safely open the door, but only if done carefully. One wrong pull, one wrong release, and the elevator could free fall. He took a slow breath. He had one shot. He heard footsteps behind him. "Arthur, do you need help?" "No," Marcus said. "I need you to trust me. That's all." Arthur nodded. Marcus released the hydraulic brake manually. The elevator began to descend, slow at first, then fast, then faster. Too fast. Marcus gripped the lever, muscles burning, teeth clenched, controlling the descent by pure force. He could hear his own heartbeat. He could hear Arthur's breathing. When the elevator passed the 6th floor, he braked. Hard. The car slowed, then stopped. Marcus turned to Arthur. "Now." They pried the doors open. Arthur climbed out first, and Marcus followed, breathing hard. The manager was waiting in the hallway with car keys in hand. "Sir," The driver is ready. No, Arthur said, voice steady now. He stays here. I'll drive. He looked at Marcus. Come with me. Marcus blinked. Sir, I can't leave my shift. And my daughter. Bring her. Arthur didn't ask. He didn't plead. He commanded, but not like a CEO. Like a father who suddenly understood something priceless. Marcus called Lily's babysitter. She brought her downstairs to the lobby, sleepy but smiling when she saw her father. Arthur held the car door for her himself. At the hospital, the walls smelled of antiseptic and sorrow. Arthur's daughter lay still, wrapped in 2 white sheets, tubes leading into her tiny arms. Arthur froze. His breath left him. Marcus placed a hand on his shoulder. You're here, he whispered. Go to her. Arthur walked to her bedside and knelt. He held her hand, whispered her name, told her stories from when she was little, sang softly. And Marcus, who had once stood on the other side of this same bed, with a different child, with a different ending, stood guard. Not as an employee, as a witness. Time moved differently in ICU rooms. Minutes felt like hours, breaths like prayers. And then, the little girl's hand twitched. Her eyelids fluttered. She whispered one word, Daddy. The nurse gasped and called for the doctor. Marcus exhaled shakily and stepped out of the room, his daughter holding his hand. Lily looked up at him, eyes wide. Daddy, we helped. Yes, Marcus whispered. We did. Arthur came out 10 minutes later. He had tears running down his face. She's stable, he said. She's still fighting. They think she has a chance. Marcus felt his throat tighten. Arthur looked at him, not like an employee, not like a stranger, but like the only person who could have been there, in that moment, in that way. I don't know how to repay you, Arthur said. You don't have to, Marcus replied. Just go be with her. But Arthur shook his head. No, you changed everything tonight, for both of us. He kneeled in front of Lily, this billionaire, kneeling on a hospital floor, and said softly, your father is the reason my daughter is alive. I will never forget that. And from this day forward, neither of you will ever struggle again. The words were not dramatic. They were a promise, one that would echo far beyond that night.